start. I'm going to do a small presentation or live coding regarding migrating to Compose. And there are actually 3 steps to do it. This is kind of the first step. There could be step 0, step -1, and so on, like including everything in your Bitcoin file and stuff like that. I'm not going to mention that one. So I will go through the steps, then I will show you the sign component. After that, I will do that in live coding, so meaning I will do all the algorithms and then turn those, or at least one design component, into Compose. Maybe there's some cards, we also have some accessibility stuff in there. Maybe that's interesting for you. I don't have really point number 4, and maybe point number 5 is for you to at least profit from knowledge. So there are 3 steps, or 3 main steps if you are using Android here and you want to use Compose afterwards. The first one would be to migrate your design components. This is this talk. The second one would be to migrate your screens. And the third one would be to migrate the navigation that you have. And then you are fully composed if that's what you decide. So let me quickly show you the design component that I will be talking about. So the app I'm working on is Hyperflow, which is a public transport map in Hamburg. We just relaunched Hamburg. This is how it looks. It's really colorful. But yeah, you can search for it from A to B and then get some results. You can show those results on the map and so on. So this is the app I'm working on. And regarding the design component that I'm going through, this is our sector and this is our design. And we actually are talking about this component, but there's a little bit more to this component, like, for example, so you can see when you start and when you arrive, you see the duration, you see the starting station. If your start is not the starting station, and then you see the way you have to go, like the mark distance and then the lines in between, and then the place for the ticketing for using the ticketing in this case. But there are some quirks, like you could have a real-time icon, meaning that if something is delayed, which obviously never happens, then it would show a real-time icon, meaning this is the real time that the bus is delayed or even goes earlier on the train. If there is no icon next to it, then this is the planned time, or also the real time, so both in that case. We could have contexts, meaning they could wrap, they don't play football to each other, and also like even the title and wrap it to multi-line, meaning you have drawable inside your text. So this is a draw is found in the Android view, and in the Compose it's something different. Good. You also want to find you have like the flags of frequentation that I will not touch in this talk right now. And then you also have announcements like added to this when you're walking or driving. Meaning as you are in round 1, they have an announcement that something is like broken. So you have 2 announcements where you can click on those. This is included in the design component, but there is a design component in itself. And we already changed that to Compose, so I don't have to do it. Good. So where do you start usually with such a design component? Is looking at your current one, right? So what you have, I'm trying to make it bigger. I'm going to read. So what you have is maybe this schedule item. This is what we call it, schedule item view, and it in itself is a constraint layout. And then the binding is this layout here, which just merges the content inside. So this is the way we get Android to use for our design components. There are a lot of different ones. If you don't have custom views for everything, then maybe it's a good start to pick out stuff. Like if you have your second view, you pick out one item and change that into Compose. For us, it's meaningful to change the Android views or our design components into Compose one by another. You can have a look at it, but when you look at it on this screen segment, you think, oh, it's very really easy constraint AI, and there will be usage of constraint AI, and if you show usage of constraint AI, you should probably also try row and column first, or even box if that's what you need before you go with constraint AI fully. Just for really big pushes. So I will start with this component, meaning I have this card at the back, because it processes the card, and the card at the front. Meaning I would just create a new file, in this case I just call it scattered item, and the Android view is the same name, just with this view suffix. We have no naming on Compose right now, so even text is called text and text view. So we kind of try to keep that and have the same for our composables. So what we start with is that we create our composable, call it chapter as scale item. And one good thing that you could do is to always add a modifier first, like if like it's good use to have that first, because it will always be used, and then you have your default parameter, which is modifier itself or modify itself, so you don't have to use it. Also, it's good practice to have this as the first parameter. Looking at our scale item view, we have a bind function. So this is the icon that goes in, and then with the binding, we just bind all the parts that are in the view. I take it up into the item real quick, and we see that we have this schedule info and this highlighted. The sections items are maybe for cross-item view are items, so I will not use those. But going back into my composable, I just take a copy and paste whatever I have right now and get rid of those sections for now. Also, good thing is that you always start with a preview, so you can take grab for composable, just hit enter, and then go to preview. And with that preview, we have our new theme, which is called HVB theme. I'm going to just add this schedule item that we have, and as schedule info, so this is the only mandatory parameter here. I just put an example one, which makes it pretty easy because we have example data classes, okay? So it shows something. Those obviously are private, those previous. And that's how you start with this composable, and then you start thinking, okay, how should I split that up? As I mentioned, once it's this big card, let's say it's content, and then you have this bottom one, in my case, this is announcement info. It's already there, but to make them overlap, because even if they, you can see that there's still this blue background behind that card, so it is a little bit offset to the top, or margin is negative. So without using constraint there, it also has to show what you could do with constraint there in reports. Also, if you do a composable yourself, you should be using the modifier that you provided as a parameter into the root view that you have. So you always probably start with a column or a row or a box or a constraint there in that case. So just use that one. And then here, you have an answer info, which is which is the card at the bottom of the one, and then I would have my content. This is not yet existent, so I create another composable. In this case, I could read another file if it's reused, but for this case, I will just make it a private content composable. And those two are in constraint now. I need to constraint them, so I will quickly check here first. Sections into that map, all of them. So I'm not sure right now, that's why I just went into my old Android view how we implemented those, and I see how we already used that, regarding the strings now, it's important that I don't use the modifier that is applied through the parameter. I create a new one, and it goes straight out. You have constraint S, and in that you have to put a reference in. This is the, let's say, ID in your XML. Creating references is actually pretty easy. You just have your two values, announcement and content, and that you call a function in your string type, which is create refs, and there you have it. This is your ID that you are using. So my announcement here is now the name or ID or reference of announcement, and my content, just to put it in here. There's also modifying, and I constrain it as a content, and I just copy the modifier again, just to have it, so this is my content. And for that now you have this plot of your constraint scope, and in that constraint scope you can link stuff to each other. You can add your constraints. So I can say that, for example, the top of this announcement should be linked to the bottom of my content, to the contents column. So you can also add a link to margin, and this is what I'm kind of using here with minus ATP, so it actually moves up this behind that part. Again, the z-axis order matters, so I put announcement in the first content afterwards, so my code is obviously on top of the z-axis. You can also have link to directly here with start and end parameters, so I just link it to my parent start and my parent end to have it stretch through the width. And you can also put a width here, meaning I am going to fill the constraints, so with respect to constraints height is in that case then my content width is done. I will do the same here, so width is, let's just copy that. I'm not okay. Again, for constraints, here I would link my top to my parent's top. So now I have achieved what I think at least I have achieved. My content is at the top, and my announcement first below, but moved up a little, minus ATP to be precise. To test that, I could make this thing out of card. We have album cards, which are external the cards, the material card. But in that case, I'm just showing a text for now, just to see if it works in the number build. I just had to restart my Mac, so it probably takes some time. But I put over for now, just so you can see if that result is what I'm expecting, at least for it to be. The card currently has default shape of, I think, all ATP. We also have different shapes here, meaning the bottom right should be 0 DP and cursor or hard, while the other ones are not. Also, we could have the case that a kind of high output, which I would seem to find on images, then the shape would be different. Like, it should have more rounded corners, and the top right corner is then also hard. I will come back to that in a second though, because I will just let's start the animating if this doesn't go too long, but while this is running, I'll just continue. Let's remove this now. So also in the preview, you have powerful functions like you can create multiple previews, and in the preview annotation, you can also put that font times in the tester component and in the size. So you could put font scale times 2 or 2f, and then you would double the size in the preview. For now, I will do a high contrast one, So this is then here, and we have our APV form, and then I just put the just entry. I will see that as soon as it compiles on the right side. And then I can show the difference. So now you have your outer stuff, so meaning the content card and the announcement info. The announcement info is, let's say, done. I should just fill it with meaningful data, but the content is not important. And I won't go through everything right now, but something that's kind of interesting at least is how to deal with these errors that they wrap with the text. So when the text is getting multiplied, it should wrap how to do these real-time icons next to my time. Previously, what you have been doing is using drawer spans that no longer exists, but there is something called inline text context. And in the documentation, it's actually pretty good described how to do it, but I will just quickly show you your text, or there are actually two text composables that you can use. You can use the one with a string as text parameter, or you can use the one that has annotated string as a text parameter. And the difference is that the other one simply has annotated string, simply has one more function, or one more parameter, sorry, which is inline content. And with that inline content, you build something, and you tell with inline content how you replace something. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to append for now 11:45. I'm using raw data and some sample data for now just to see if it works. And after that, I will be doing exactly what this is kind of doing. I will append any inline content. So I will have my append of, let's say, white space, and then my inline content. I would need an ID for that, and then I would have an alternate text. So alternate text is as soon as it's loading, it shows that an alternate text. And also, if you have accessibility, it wouldn't read the image, but rather this alternate text. Meaning, I probably do this somewhere else in a different format, and I will just do it here. So I'm going to need, let's say, real-time, which is going to be real-time. It's a string, it's whatever string you need, and this is, for now, a string source, and your string source is something like this, like accessibility 11. I will just import this, so it's in a different package or class, and I use the typewriter for that one. So it means real-time, meaning it's real-time English, and this is my inline content. Afterwards, I just put another white space and put another time, like it takes until, I don't know, 49. And also, I am missing this area in between, so I would take, let's say this is my error. I would have another ID, which is this error. And use a different text. In this case, I don't have one, I'm just using them in general. For now, that it reads something. It depends if it's meaningful for you. You can also leave it blank and it goes afterwards. Sometimes an image doesn't need a content description if the text next to it describes it perfectly fine. Good, so this is my annotated string, but those two wouldn't show anything. They would just show whatever this alternate text is. So I need to actually do what the documentation says, which is to use also inline content, meaning I have my text and I have this inline content parameter. So I add inline content, and this is a map, so I can just use map of my ID, and then see my inline content, which is an object which then can return a composable. So, as an example here, also tell how big this whatever I'm going to replace is going to be in M's or SP or whatever text size you're using, and then it will replace that with whatever is in that scope here. So I have my ID, meaning the real time one. I'm going to text content and to just copy that because it's quicker. Placeholder and this placeholder I put as I don't know, 6 I'm not sure how big the real-time icon is right now. I will update it. And I can also place it or align it in my text. So it should be top at the bottom, center unit, and there is a vertical alignment, and there are multiple ones. Just be aware that if you choose top, it's not the top of the text that you see, but rather the top of the view. So you still have the ascender above, and you would need to offset that. So my goal is to actually show this real-time icon next to the top of the text, maybe a little bit higher, but not all the way to the top. So I'm going to offset this one. Meaning I have my image name here with the painter and the content description. As soon as this would be loaded, the person that is replaced, then this content description kicks in. So I again use as a painter description my real-time text, and as a painter just use the painter source, and I'm going to use my drawers, and I have a real-time icon. And now to look at the real-time icons APP, so I'm going to change that to 8SP. So it should also increase with text size. This is not a problem as long as this is a vector problem. And what I mentioned is like I need to modify this to be a little bit offset. So I just offset this one on the y-axis by 2SP or something a little bit better. So I have to use dp. But you can still use SP. The only thing is that we need to convert SP then to DP. We wrote an extension function for that, which is just an on text unit, and it uses the local density. And with that, you can then use the DP that is available to you. So this way, you can also offset if the text increases, the offset would also increase accordingly, so it would still look correctly. And my assumption would just be that this is now located a little bit down, not at the top. Good. And we also have this error, so I need another one with my error ID. And I don't know the size of it, but I have this error between big, let's have this one, 16. So I change this to 16. I tell this one to be in the center, so it's in the center of the text. If I would like to also make those two wrap together, I would have to implement or have to use non-breaking space. Otherwise, it could be possible that the end of the A is at the top line while the real-time icon would wrap into the second line. So if you don't want that to happen, which is in this case, I could use non-breaking space. So instead, here again, where I have my real-time icon, instead use my string resource, we have non-breaking space. So this is a one space that just doesn't break into the next line. So one time will always be next to the real-time icon. Good. With that, I think I'm confident I have prepared this simple activity. I just load my schedule item, so let's see if this works. Filling it with info, which doesn't really matter, let that run. Yeah, let's hope this works. The preview is looking a bit weird, that's why I didn't complete use this where my trip is starting, so if I'm walking to the first station, I want to know what time at the station the train starts, or the bus, or whatever you're traveling with. This again can be multiple, it's the same logic here, so I'm going to follow this one. You can have the variables back here. The only difference is that you now have a different start of text, one being lighter in color, while the other one being darker in color. And by doing that, so let's see if we still have that. Let's connected. Yeah, so I have to move with the musical icon. Okay. So then the other one is in the first reading, and the other text, not type text, is in the second. But you actually see time here if it's big enough. So for the next part, which would be that different styling, you can also do that with your text, meaning that just add one after before I'm using a word in this case, and I would like to change how the word, for example, looks like. In this case, this would be my time or my starting or the other one. So on text, I put a style there, and this style would count for everything, meaning when I have my style groups and style. I'm using my typography, you can use whatever material typography you have. We have different ones, so I'm using one, and I'm using a color, which is also any color, you just using background. I'm using a background line to just see something, and I give it an emphasis of, let's say, medium, so it's, I think, 60% the amount of text, which is the light gray text. But I want my other text, in this case, maybe world, to be styled differently, so I need to also style this one differently. And for that, I again can use not the string here, but rather an annotated string. The only upside now is that I don't have to use inline content because I'm not replacing something, but rather I can use with style, meaning I write hello, and that's some white space, and then I use with style, and I can change the style, what the flag append should look like. So I have our world, and the style here, and just use a style. It takes two parameters, or there are two custom parameters, one being the paragraph style, the other one being the span style. Paragraph style is like line height and stuff, while span style is like the text look, like color or font or whatever you think of. So I just change the style to again use our field, I take typography, you can take whatever you want. I just pick a different one, meaning I pick something like free, and they look different. For every text style that you have, there are two functions called tspan and paragraph style, so you have to write in the journal. So I'm using that, and then I'm just also replacing the color in this one because it's not on the typography set or color. I also need the color to be something different. In this case, the same color on background, but just with an high emphasis. So meaning like it would be 100%, the transparency line target would be 87%. So with this, I've created a hand on the world, and the world should look different. Let's see if something has been built. So this is the previous one, where you see the replacement of my text. And if I move on this now with my hello world example, something funny should happen. I guess you should see the difference here. Okay. it's pretty visible, but it's there. Just for this case, I'm going to make this full red, meaning you will see the difference from on the left side, but it's a different font, it's a different style, it's a different color. We also change this to be a red line so it's more visible. But one rebuilds this little nine-line style. So this is with annotated string. You can always replace something. You can underline it, you can find the way you want. And then if you're using an inline content, you can also replace specific IDs, but you need to use append inline content. Okay. Good. So I will obviously not be able to do for this component right now, but one thing I would probably tackle is this one here, which is just also clickable, so you can directly go into the ticketing area and buy a ticket for this trip. And shape is maybe the interesting part, so on the left side there it's not it's rounded, while on the right side it's not. So do another one here, and let's again put the text in here. It's supposed to refer you or something. I'm using modifiers in the background. So as soon as it's also clickable, just to mention this one really quick, as soon as it's clickable, and I would have to open on a bit, have to focus on the card, it will be red as soon as it's clickable, and then I can flag to the right to go to my next focus, and then it would get focus. So, yeah, just to get that information. But now I have my background, and the color is themes color and the badge. So it's gray, and my text color in this case is again arbitrary colors on that. So it will look different than my style. I don't know, I just copy something from the left. So it's kind of the same thing. So with that, I have the background of this tree, but I don't have it to be clipped or anything. So we would need to add a clip, and here we can add whatever shape we want. There are rounded corner shapes, there are other shapes, depending on what you want. We already have some shapes in our field, so I'm just using one of them. I don't know which one is the right one, but anyway, I'm using one of them. When I rebuild again, I would probably see that badge on the left side. That brings me to another topic. So if you want to, in your column that we have now with the word and then italics and then the badge that is soon coming, everything is positioned to the left because that's the default value. I would just add a plugin here. ATPs or something is visible. So my color, but I only want to write now the price one to be to the right side. It has a weird shape now, it's because I'm using any shape. But I want that one to be on the right side. And there's something in column like which you could use if that's what you want, which is the horizontal alignment. So I could align all of them according to whatever value I set here, meaning start, center, end. But if I want to only do that for my single text here that I have, there is also an alignment modifier. So I can actually align that one to the right side or to the end. And with that, my badge will then also move to the right side. Because I mentioned like talkback and accessibility, when I have focused on this part, talkback would read all the content that is not clickable or has semantics by itself. And that way it would read around 11:45 real time, then 11:49. This is still replaced So if I want to change that, maybe to not read the times or also include the price in that character, I would have to use a modifier called semantics. So on my column here, for example, I put a new modifier and make it clickable. And when this is clickable, this is also focusable in accessibility. But when I do semantics, I can change the content description of that one to read whatever you want, right? So you can again put any string here and this grayed out. Yeah, so this is, I need to wrap it up. This is how you will change your design component to from Android View to composable. You start thinking, and what I could just give you on the way is like think less about constraint count first. I've been using it just because of the negative marginal, but try to make everything work with the column first. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Just